Good afternoon, everyone. The purpose of these videos is to explain how we rate two categories in claims comparison. Before I do that, I thought I'd just run through why claims comparison was created. Having looked after claims for all my life, all my working life, you soon will see that people have purchased insurance far too often on price. But when it comes to claims, they want, they're obviously a policy that's going to provide cover for them, and they want a really good claim service. So they want this Rolls-Royce Surface, but at the same time, they've been often looking just at the cheapest possible product. So I thought it was wise and the right thing to do to get people to start purchasing insurance on the quality of the product, which includes not only the features and benefits of the policy, a la policycomparison.com, but also on the claim service. Now, claim service, how do you actually rate this? So we worked out a way in 2013 that we could provide a meaningful rating of the claims departments across the insurers. Now, we also realised that in some companies, particularly the larger ones, you'll have different teams looking after different classes because of the specialist nature and increasingly specialist nature of claims within particular classes. For example, professional indemnity is going to be different from a broken windscreen. So we've developed a way of looking at the various classes, and there's 22 classes, and we've just this year introduced aviation. So aviation, at the request of users, is going to be included in this. Now, before I go through and just show how to use the site, I thought we'd talk about how we rate. So if you want to read more, up on the claimscomparison.com website, it's got a tab called About Rating, and then we've got Why We Rate, which I've just explained, and then How We Rate. Now, there are two categories. There's Category 1 products, which are in fact the ones that AFCA have adjudication over. So this includes domestic building and contents, private motor, personal travel, residential strata, caravan, pet, and pleasure craft. Within the Category 1 products, we split this down further into motor and other classes. We've done this because motor is such a big part of the Australian market and a significant number of claims. So what we've done there is looked at, if I go through motor first, we've looked at how the AFCA claims have been resolved. Is it resolved by agreement with the insurer? And if that's an agreement, then that rate's higher than where it's not been agreed. The second thing that we look at is whether or not it has been resolved in favour of the insurer. An insurer may have a significant number of complaints against them, but if they're all valid complaints and they were entitled to have those claims denied, then they should not be penalised, and that's the way we're working. So that equates, the AFCA data equates for 50% of the overall star rating. Then below that, what's important to an insured is, can you be contacted out of hours? Then the choice of repairer, the repairer guarantee, and then the survey conducted of customers only equates to 10% of the overall score. And if you add all that up, it gives a total of 100%. I will later show you how the 10% component, which is the survey component, is made up. With the other classes, it's 25% a resolution by agreement, 27.5% ranked in favour of the insurer, and then the contact hours. So if you've got a house fire, you don't want to be, it happens at 10 o'clock on a Friday night. It's very uncomfortable for an insured to be sitting around until Monday morning when the office is open, before you can lodge a claim. That is something that really seriously upsets people. So having an emergency contact number does improve your rating. Then the survey of customers gives 10%. Overall, that creates 100%. Now, If I go to category 2, this is done purely by survey, and the same process is used for category 1 products as well. So when we look at the survey, we're looking at 4 criteria: speed, and under speed, we're asking the respondent to look at the initial acknowledgement, acceptance or denial of the claim, action or receipt of the assessment, the progress payments where they obtained at a reasonable speed, and then the final payment. The next criteria is proactiveness, whether it be the adjuster, if an adjuster is appointed, or if the insurer is handling it direct. Was the claims department keeping in contact with the insured and keeping them up to date on how the claim is handled? So it goes from unsatisfactory to excellent. Accuracy. This is did the adjuster read the policy correct? Did the insurer read the policy correct? Were the consultants appointed? Did they know what they were doing? And were the policy terms and conditions correctly interpreted? The difficulty here is sometimes, particularly with an insured, they don't know what they don't know. Whereas if a broker, they would typically know how the policy should respond and is in a better position to answer this. And then ultimately is fairness. And was the entitlement explained to the customer? Was a respondent refused assistance when they felt policy provided to the insurer ought to have been supplied? Was the original settlement offer fair and reasonable? So again, all 4 categories are rated from 1 to 5 stars. Each of these have an equal rating and count towards the ultimate result. So in category 1 products, the retail products, this only accounts for 10%. With the other, the wholesale products, the survey, because we don't have any FOS data or other data, we have to rely on the survey to get the results. So that's how we do it. It's quite a simple process. As it says down here, to avoid any conflict of interest, the staff at LMI, including myself, are not permitted to submit a survey on any claim other than one involving our own, a policy taken out in our own personal name. I've done that. I've had 2 claims during the course of the claims comparison life, and I did rate how my insurer performed in both those events. So that's the only time that we've physically done that, or I've done it personally, and my team do the same thing. Right, if any of you have any questions about this, as I say, you've got, you can go to the website and see why we rate, how we rate, and how often we rate. I would remind anyone who's interested in this that I'd suggest that you have your customers or your brokers complete the survey regularly, particularly after a claim has just been completed. It's fresh in their mind. They'll be able to, I think, better answer these, not just rely on their memory, or be in the position where you've done 5 or 6 claims really well and they're unhappy with one, and then your rating is drawn down by the one that was not as well handled in the eyes of the customer or the broker. To have your say, this is a survey that is running all year round. So you complete the survey in showing in what position you're in. So you can be an insured, broker, etc., etc. So if I go through and say that I'm a broker, it's a single claim experience, and then we only want to get honest answers, and that they should be, we don't want to get false ratings. So people have to confirm that they're answering it honestly. At this stage, we do have tests to make sure that someone's just not doing an abnormal number, or that the one IP address is being used to do tens of surveys, and we haven't seen anyone breach this confidence, this requirement. Then you can pick the class that you're going to look at. Aviation will have been added by the time you go to this screen, and then we'll just say we'll do a home claim, home and contents. Next, you can just pick the insurer out of all the ones that are here. I'll pick Chubb, and then pick next. And then I can just go through and rate how I find them for those. It's as simple as this. If I was to give them 5 stars, I can just go through and do that. I can add some comments. So Chubb looked after me well from start to finish. And then submit. I'm not going to submit this because that'd be a false entry, so I won't be submitting that. But that's as simple as that. And it only takes a few seconds. That is then sent to our statistician, who goes through all these findings, make sure that they're legitimate. Our IT department also do those checks that I talked about to make sure that the one IP address or the one email address hasn't done multiple entries. And then our policy comparison team check off the brand against the carrier. So this is the most time-consuming part for us. So if I go into Home and Contents and I pick just a couple of insurers at random, GIO, I'll pick the Guild. I saw the Guild there, and I can pick RACT, and I'll pick Territory Insurance Office and WFI. So by picking that, ASIC required us to show who the provider, who the carrier behind that brand was. So this is the bit that we tend to spend the most time trying to keep up to date for everyone. If this is not right, it's not for want of trying. We do go to the websites and we bring up your policy and we read them to get this. If it's been changed recently, we may not be on top of it, even though we check them monthly. If it is not correct, by all means let us know and we will correct it within 24 hours or 1 business day. So that's the claim rating process. It's quite simple to do for your customers. And from here, we then take the top performing ones. For instance, with personal lines, we take all the personal lines classes, look at the best performing across all the various classes of insurance that make up personal lines to get the finalists, and the best of those is the winner of that category. The same with the other 4 categories. And then the best of the best overall is the Gold Mansfield winner. Righto, as I said, any questions, please just go to the Contact Us button. If there's anything you'd like us to change or review, please let us know, and we will be right on top of it for you. Thank you for your time, and stay safe. Thank you.